Yo, what's up, everybody? Alright, so basically, there hasn't been much coverage of this incident, but I'm going to be covering, I don't think there's actually been really any, YouTuber coverage on the, pro-police side of this whole situation. Um, I'm going to be covering this Atlanta, the two students tased while trying to go home from college, and we're going to see how this really was the male's fault in this situation. So.
Shutting down the intersection International and Williams.
Okay, so you've got this person over here. They're being arrested on the curb, and they're saying that they're saying please no. They're just being arrested. They've been taken into police custody. No, there's no violence against them. They're saying that they haven't done anything wrong, but they don't have a vehicle. They're past the New York curfew, and they are on foot, which is violating curfew. And they have reasonable. The police are doing their job by arresting them, and they are enforcing the curfew that was put in place, and they're doing their job just as they should be. There's nothing wrong there. Okay, so this guy in the black car, he's sitting here filming, alright? So he's sitting there filming, and he's filming out his car window, and he's trying to make sure, nothing happens. But he can do that for the time being, but you'll see where there becomes a problem. Confronting him right now is because he's yelling at the police officers about the situation. They're trying to explain to him the situation that what's going on, and the guy in the vehicle is claiming that there was that they were in the process of getting a car for the guy being arrested, but that doesn't matter. The police are doing their job. They're carrying out what they're ordered to do, and they're just doing that. There's no way to argue against that. The police yell at him, "Go, man, go." He starts moving. There you go. There shouldn't be any further incident. If he would have continued at that, everything would have been fine. None of this would have happened. Once again, police tells him to keep going. There's plenty of room in between his car and the car in front of him, but continues to stop and film.
Keep going. He's getting in the car. He's getting in the car. He's with us getting in the car.
Okay, so they're explaining to the officer that they're there to pick that guy up, the guy being arrested. But once again, he's already violated curfew. They're doing their job. Honestly, if you were thrown into this situation as a police officer, things would be kind of crazy. You're arresting somebody for doing exactly what you're supposed to do, and some guy comes along and says that they're picking the guy up that just got arrested, and you can't really do that. They're in police custody at that point. They've already violated curfew, and you have to follow your policy. That's all they're doing here. So once again, we're going to take a look at all the space in between the black car with the suspect in it and the vehicle in front of him. And you can see that there's plenty of space, and he should be moving up. Once again, the officer signals towards him to move up. He tells him to move up verbally, and the guy continues to sit there. Traffic is moving, he's not. Now, that means that he's violating curfew. He's in violation of curfew. He's blocking traffic because he's not going home. He's staying out, blocking traffic behind him. That's multiple crimes there. And you have him staying here, so the officer attempts to make an arrest because that's what he's supposed to do. So the suspect eludes instead of taking the arrest like he should be. Any person who was abiding by the law at that point would have not moved their vehicle. They would have stayed there, or they would have gotten out of their vehicle, and they would have submitted to the officer's arrest because the officer did have a reason to arrest him. The guy was not moving up. He was refusing to follow and abide by the flow of traffic, and that's also because of the curfew things in place. That's probably the violation of curfew. So they start yelling at him that he can't go anywhere because he's blocked off by patrol cars. as you see, he moved up in traffic, but at that point he was already being taken into police custody. He had already violated the law, and he can't just drive away from that. He was being taken into police custody. He was being arrested, detained, whatever they were intending to do, and he can't drive away from that. So technically, he already just eluded arrest. Okay, so they're yelling at them to open the door. Finally, she complies, opens the door.
Get out the car! No, I don't know what's going on! Get out the car! Okay, stop the car! Stop!
Okay, so this is where stuff gets bad. The female in this situation was not doing anything wrong. She was just kind of caught up in it because right now the person who possesses the vehicle and is in control of the vehicle is the male suspect. So he's in the driver's seat. That's who they're trying to get to. She, unfortunately, is in the way, in between the police officers and the person they're trying to get to. So that's when stuff kind of gets blurry.
Stop! Okay, I'm getting out! Stop!
Right there, that's when tasers are deployed. Okay, so he grabs her wrist and he pulls her off to the side. There's no problem with that. Now that the female is out of the way, there's no further incident. No further violence towards her is committed because what they're trying to do is get to the driver. Now, if you've seen the cell phone footage from the side, you'll see that 2 times he actually starts rolling forward. And now when he rolls forward like this while the officer's body is halfway into his car, that's posing a threat to the officer. And when that's also vehicular assault. So he's assaulting a police officer with a deadly weapon, which is his vehicle, by continuing to roll forward and, put the officer's life in danger by not complying and putting the vehicle in park. And you can hear the officer shouting at him to put the vehicle in park multiple times. You can see the female victim, suspect, whatever some people call them, a victim. You can see them sitting on the curb to the side. There's no further incident with that. She's sitting on the curb. They have an officer watching her. She's in custody, and there's no further incident with that, no further violence. But as for the male suspect, he was committing a crime. He was eluding arrest. He was in control of the vehicle. There was a reason to arrest him in the first place. He was in control of the vehicle. That's who they were trying to get to. He was fighting with the officers, moving the vehicle while the officer was partly inside his car, which is a danger to the officer. And from then on, they finally are able to take control of his arms and get control of the situation. After getting the female out of the way. Okay, so that's basically the whole incident. A lot of people are saying that a lot of people are complaining about this. I don't know why. But apparently the officers were fired. I don't agree with that. I think that they shouldn't have been fired. They were doing their job. They had a reason to arrest him in the first place. And the male suspect was multiple times committing dangerous, assaulting the officers with a vehicle, and repeatedly resisted and eluded arrest with a vehicle. So I think there's kind of a problem with what happened here. A lot of people are on the sides of the suspects. I don't think that's correct. I think a lot of people are misinformed, and I just kind of wanted to put out my side of the story and, get more people informed on this. Well, see you guys.